The people who succeed are irrationally passionate about something. Naval Ravikant. My friends, I am irrationally passionate about trading, and I hope you are too. If you're not, I hope you become irrationally passionate. I do like making money. That is fun, but there's something about trading. There is something about investing, about pitting yourself against the market and all the things that are going on, following price movement, learning continually and improving and proving it to yourself, because making money in the trade or losing money in the trade, there is always a winning or a losing. You're always going to be pitting yourself against others and seeing how well you do. And you're also going to be pitting yourself, against all the emotions of fear and greed that flow in any trading scenario. So please, 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. That is all you need to spend. You will learn how to do this over time. Don't worry about how long it takes. Why? Because once you master the market, you'll make up for all the time you ever spent. If it were easy, anybody could do it. But it is fun along the way. Let's jump into these charts. What do we see going on? Well, we see everything up for the day but gold. Everything up pretty big too. S&P 500 up 1.24%. Now, we talked about, is this thing going to keep going down? How is the week going to end? Well, it ended with lots of indecision. We do see a green. Let's blow that up a little bit for you. We see a green spinning top above the weekly trend line on the weekly chart. Look at all the volume. Now, as we look at things and we now go back in time and compare, of course, we had this wonderful run up. We had two great trades in here. The first spring up and then the second spring up. And of course, when things rotated over going down, we did have, average volume there just below where the peak was. Well, let's see. The peak, I just can't remember. 524.38, 524.61, 524.11. So yeah, the peak was a week before, right after that green spinning top, then red. Then, of course, 2 down weeks. This week pushing back through. Now, this is interesting. Where we had our peak down move, we had a peak volume, you can see. And then we had the next week didn't quite get as low. And then this week, more high volume, not quite as high as before, but more than that past week, and a green spinning top. What does that typically portend? Well, we have an interim low with high volume. We have a turnaround green doji with high volume. Typically, blowing through the trend line as it has, it means that things are going to be going back up. It is an entry signal. Now, can the market go higher? Will the market go higher? Don't know for sure, but do know that the way the signal is setting up for us on the weekly, it's telling us a lot about doing so. Look at the 2-day. This finished drawing today also. We saw where the 2-day bottomed with high volume and then started moving up. And of course, this latest 2-day candle, high volume, green spinning top, again, pushing through the weekly trend line. And on the half day, it bounced above it back last Friday, then down below it during the week. Just a little bit, popped back through. Didn't mean to change the trend line. Let's get it back to where it's supposed to be. Didn't mean to change that up there. I don't know how I grabbed onto it. Anyway, then we saw it move through and, of course, go up on Friday. Friday morning, bammed up, and then Friday afternoon, about the same area, maybe a little lower. But again, that is a signal for a turnaround. And what are we looking to do? Of course, enter a long trade to see things go up. Now, will they necessarily go up? No, they don't necessarily go up. That's what we're banking on happening. And of course, what do? We set one-time ATR on the 2-day chart and do our buy-in order and a good till canceled sell order at one-time ATR. And of course, we pull the trade if we hit one-time ATR in the negative direction. Of course, as we teach, we use under the forecasting and measurement tools the long position, We fill that out, put that in using, of course, our one-time ATR, which on the 2-day chart, $9.43. If you look, now the minute I move, it's going to change, but it's the number right here under RMA. When I go over here, if you keep looking, 943. So again, we got lots of good training on that. Those who've been with us a while, you know how to do it. You know what we're talking about. And again, those of you who don't, we have great trainings on how to do it, the always winning method, using the average true range, all of that stuff. And the new book, folks, that I'm almost done with. I'm just finishing the daily market, weekly market, and the trade worksheets on how to use those. Already finished the last chapter. I'm just going back right now, about to get it to the proofreader probably next week. Hope to get finished up this Sunday. And then we're going to get our latest book out. And I can't wait to do that. And you're going to love how the book is going to be given out and how you're going to be able to get a copy of it. I sold, thousands of copies, thousands and thousands of that first book I put out, Charting Wealth. I'm trying to remember. Charting Your Way to Wealth. That was the name of the book. Almost couldn't remember it. I've got a great working title on this one. I'll keep you posted as we go more. But that's where we are on the S&P. Now let's look at the NASDAQ 100. As we look at it, we can see it's even more positive for the up move. You can see the interim down, higher than average volume here, better volume last week than on the S&P, and clearly a green spinning top that's pushed through that weekly trend line. And we can see about the same kind of candles and movement on the 2-day and the half-day chart. So again, and it was up 2% for the day. So we fully expect, entering long positions long positions being entered on both the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. Now let's move on to 20-year bonds. What are they doing? Well, we got a red doji here. Lots of volume here. Do have a green spinning top, the first one we've seen in a long time. Could you pull the trigger on Friday to jump into an up move on bonds? You sure could have. Did that make a lot of sense? Well, you had the green spinning top on the 2-day going for you. You had all that volume going for you, both on the interim low and on the up move. But again, that weekly, that red doji is a weak turnaround. We would rather have something like we saw before, when things all the way back to October 23, the week beginning the 23rd of October in 23, we saw we had that interim low with higher than average volume, and then we had the green spinning top turnaround. We don't have a green spinning top. We have a red doji, so not as strong, but again, showing lots and lots of indecision with lots of volume. So could be the turnaround. Not opposing you jumping in, just saying, keep a close eye on how the week starts and progresses. What about gold? Gold down, our only downer for the day, down 0.08%. And of course, we did end the week down on gold, higher than average volume after we had that interim peak back on the week beginning the 8th. So we are again short on gold. We did end the week short. The only way you can short gold, or the only way we do it, you can of course buy DGZ. That is the inverse of gold. The only problem, as we talk about, the problem with DGZ is when you go to buy it, you see that DGZ, the short on gold, the problem with it is it's very, very illiquid, which means that the bid and the ask are far apart. At least they were all the times I've looked in the past. And I don't want to buy anything where I have to recover a significant amount of money in a turnaround just to break even. I don't like to go into a trade super negative. So you buy puts in your practice trade. How do you do that? Well, of course, you do that by knowing about options. How do you know about options? You take our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, that at any of the 3 levels of Patreon support, First thing you get is the email with the links to those trainings. You will love it. You want to learn about options? Learn it from us. Now, let's look lastly at HODL rebounding strong. Second day in a row, even stronger. 4.73%. 24-hour a day Bitcoin is up right now, 6.30%. Where are we on the candle for the week, though? We're still strongly down. When we look at where we are on the half day, it's just sitting on the trend line. And of course, if we adjust that trend line actually out to where the last one was, we're still far above it. I'm going to keep things on that prior trend line. And you can see the two, see how well we've ridden down it. So we, particularly on the 2-day chart. So again, and for the 2-day chart, what do we have? We have a red spinning top. So we're still short Bitcoin. So where are we as we wrap up the week? We are long on the S&P 500. We're a bit ambivalent, but if you put a gun to my head, I'm long on QQQ. When it comes to 20-year bonds, we are, again, well, I'm sorry, it wasn't QQQ that I was ambivalent on. I was stronger, actually, on being long on the Qs. I conflated that, forgive me, with 20-year bonds. That's where I'm more ambivalent, but I would go long if I was forced to. When we look at where we are on gold, short. We're red on gold. And of course, we're continuing to be short on Bitcoin. My friends, we always love to hear from you. If you have questions, problems, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And the Naval Ravikant quote that we had about being irrationally passionate about something, I hope that you will find that passion, that irrationally passionate feeling when it comes to stock market, when it comes to trading, when it comes to investing. I hope that you'll develop that like I have over the years and that it will keep going for you. I love this. I do this every day. You guys know I do it every day. It doesn't matter where I am. I was traveling yesterday. I stopped outside of Starbucks and did the show. I do it every day. I love it. I want you to love it too. And the minute you start seeing success with this, there's nothing better than succeeding, than watching the green in your practice trading account, than actually making a few pennies or dollars when you're doing the fractional trading, which means that when you go to real money, maybe $100, a few shares of something or a fractional amount of an expensive thing like the S&P or the NASDAQ 100. And then, or maybe one share of TLT or half a share of gold. And when you do that and you're successful and you're proving to yourself you know what you're doing, does it fire you up? Absolutely. Do you wake up every morning not just being excited about cutting your computer on and being able to jump into the market? It's amazing. I want you to have that feeling too. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.